when you're angry, you are one bad decision away from changing your life forever to a point where you can't go back. If you're someone that gets angry and the first thing you want to do is take action, I hope you take this into account. There are things that you're going to do, there are things that you may possibly do that will prevent you from carrying on with the life that you currently live, having the freedom that you currently have, having the relationship that you currently have, the friendship, the connection, everything. All because you decided to act on your anger and you didn't think twice about it. You didn't think twice about it at all. Now everyone that has seen you this way, no one wants to connect with you. No one wants to trust you now. You have no self-control. No one wants to be around someone that has no self-control. You see it all the time. People dealing with road rage. You see the road rage incidents all the time on the internet. People, someone cuts someone off, someone does anything, someone's riding their ass, and all of a sudden the person decides to pull over and they both just duke it out. You understand that if one person just said, it's not that serious, it's not that serious, they didn't even endanger my life, let's just keep going, carry on with my life so that I can go home and return to my family that same day. But instead, they decided, no, this person is testing me. I'm going to go ahead and do something that I'm not even thinking clearly about and get rid of it. Think about the times where you were a kid and you got something taken away, you got grounded because you got a bad grade in class. What did you do? You probably punched a wall, screamed, said something hurtful to your parents. And what happened later? You ended up regretting it, right? You end up feeling bad about these things because you know that it wasn't right, but in the moment you let that emotion take over. And don't get me wrong, anger is it is a damn good emotion. All your emotions, we have an emotional spectrum. We are meant, whether we're men or women, we are meant to experience the entire spectrum of emotions. However, that doesn't mean you let them control you. You ever hear someone say, don't make a don't tell someone yes when you're having a good day. Don't tell someone, however it goes, something like that. Don't tell someone, you know what I'm trying to say. Like you want to make sure that you're not letting these emotions really control you, that you are thinking clearly. One of the things that has helped me all the time with my anger is asking myself, all right, if I act on this, am I okay with the consequences? Am I okay with everything that comes after this? Am I okay with potential repercussions? If I can say yes to that, then maybe if I can say yes, I still won't even act on it. Why? Because I've had too much time to think. That's when anger gets offset. That's what offsets anger. When you start thinking more and more about it, you're either gonna laugh or you're gonna either say, okay, this doesn't make any rational sense. I'm gonna calm myself down. Calm myself down, think about this. Just think. Say you're outside and someone bumps into you by accident, but you took it the wrong way and you decide to just turn around and club the guy in the back of the head. What happens now? What happens now? Now you have police involvement. This guy could sue you. A lot of things can go wrong. But if you had just said, if you had just actually let him explain himself, or you know look at him and wait for him to say something, maybe this wouldn't have happened. These little things, you just want to make it home. Keep that in mind. You just want to be able to make it home, or you want to be able to carry on with your day. If something is something really worth you not being able to see your friends and family the next day, is it really worth it? You see, I can't tell you how many times that if I gave into my emotions, I probably wouldn't even be here making this video, because there have been so many times where now I am not telling you to be a pushover. There's a difference. I'm saying there are certain situations that don't require a reaction. Not everything requires a reaction. Now, I'm not telling you to be a pushover. If someone is backing you into a corner, that's a little different. But it's not even just about you versus someone else. It's more so, if someone says something that you don't like, says a certain word that you don't like, is it really worth taking action against that? I'm talking taking serious action just to potentially throw your life away. No, it's not. Anger is offset by thought. But like I said before, we are meant to experience the emotional spectrum. It's nothing wrong with that. Emotions are beautiful. You learn to control them. You learn to realize that they're not all like the thoughts you're having are not authentic to you. They're authentic to those emotions. So, of course, like when you're feeling anger, it's gonna have you want to do something much more violent or much more consequential. But if you're happy, of course, you're not going to be thinking about stuff like that. But it's okay to acknowledge these emotions. It's okay to acknowledge these thoughts. But I want you to realize that they're just that, thoughts. Nothing has happened. There are no consequences until you actually do something. So think about that. Ask yourself every single time, hey, is this worth it? Is this worth the potential consequences? And another thing that's ever helped me, that's actually helped me with this, is breathing exercises. You know, just because when you're breathing, you're also thinking about it. You're just asking yourself, is it really this serious? And also, hey, make fun of yourself if you need to. Is it really just this serious? Especially with the internet comments. People blow up over internet comments all the time, especially people that have not been exposed to that type of stuff before, which is why it's good to have that emotional maturity, emotional intelligence. You need to know that this is not worth it. And of course, bantering in the comments is really pretty much harmless, but when it starts to get to the point where there are threats being thrown out or people are, trying to dox someone like that, you gotta think to yourself, is it really worth doing all that? I have never I've had times in my life where I blew up over things. I've gotten physical. I had cousins that like to bully me as a kid. I was a skinny kid. I was very weak. Of course, that's not the case now, but I was skinny. They were stronger than me. They all played sports. I didn't play any sports. And if I did, well, when I did, I was still not stronger than them. They were older than me too. And there were times where it was called for me to get physical because they were trying to back me into a corner, like I said before. But sometimes they were just saying words and I would just lash out at them, get really physical. And I didn't think I was in the wrong at the time, but my family made it very clear that I was in the wrong. But now I know I was in the wrong because I didn't have to react that way. And I'm talking, there's some things I don't even want to say on here that I did that if it was allowed to go further, it could have gotten so much worse for me. I don't know what would have happened. But those moments like that, I'm kind of glad those happened to me at such a young age because it brought me to this point where I know, hey, this is not important. This is not worth it. And even being around, surrounding myself with wiser people that have already experienced this stuff or that simply just know it. They just know, hey, I've seen it before. Unless you absolutely have to, typically that reaction is not warranted. Your anger, leaning into your anger is not warranted. And if you're going to lean into your anger, at least use that to channel it into something more positive, like working out, going for a run, anything. Hell, if reading will help you calm down, do that. But don't engage in self-destructive habits. Don't let your anger win. Realize that it's a part of the emotional spectrum and that you are in control here. You can't blame anything. When something if something goes down, you can't blame your emotions. All you can blame is you. You have to look yourself in the mirror. You have to face yourself and say that I am responsible for that. I did that. Not your emotions. Your emotions can't do anything unless you let them.